Repeat after me. I am powerful.
I am powerful.
Louder. I am powerful.
I am powerful.
I am powerful.
I am powerful.
Well, welcome to the Empowering Podcast. I am with a very special guest. You see, the new year just started. And being that we are now in a position to start fulfilling our goals, I wanted to make sure to bring someone on, a professional, someone who is really good at personal development and has a lot of stories to share. I am very excited to be here with him today. This is Sheldon Crocker. Please introduce yourself.
Hello, great to be here. Thank you very much for having me on your fantastic podcast. I really enjoy listening to all the episodes I've heard. My name is Sheldon Crocker, and I'm from Newfoundland, Canada. I've been involved in business for about 6 years, and I believe that everybody has an inner greatness, and I believe that everybody has power within them to overcome their obstacles. And I do help people by reaching out for my speaking gigs, and I share my story of overcoming the obstacles that I've overcome in my life in order to help others to feel confident to overcome their own. I also have a few books that I have published, which other people have told me has been very beneficial to them and has been very helpful. Recently, I've gotten into coaching, one-on-one coaching. I haven't really had the opportunity to get to have any clients yet, but because it's very new starting up. So that's a little bit of me. I believe that other people can benefit from what I do because I know that it has benefited me.
Nice. Well, okay, so speaking. Let's talk about that for a bit because I'm a speaker as well. I love doing it. It's a passion. When did you start, and what got you into the speaking industry?
Well, I done my first ever professional speaking, paid speaking gig about 5.5, 6 years ago. I was after coming from a very troublesome childhood of abuse and addictions, and two people who probably should not have been parents, and being the only person in the small town where I'm from with a physical disability, being told that I would never amount to anything, being told that, oh, you'll never be anything besides a disabled welfare bum by your own father. It wasn't a good upbringing at all, and my mother used to take her frustrations out on me physically. So I always felt like I had a voice, but I didn't feel like I had a voice. I had a voice, but I wasn't allowed to. No matter what I did or no matter what I said, didn't matter. Nobody paid any attention to me.
So like you had something in you. You knew you had that voice, but you wasn't allowed to express that or allowed to. Wow. I got to tell you, Sheldon, that's a lot. That is a lot of adversity, a lot of barriers you faced. And for anyone listening, it would be cool for them to have an insight on how you came out of that, because now you have turned that pain into a purpose of helping people. So what was the aha moment that got you into this, or got you to say, this happened to me, but I'm going to help other people not to go through this?
Right. Well, I went through many years of addiction myself, drinking, drugs, and I just lived on the streets, I slept on the street, park benches. But I was supposed to be going to an addiction treatment center one time. It was a 4-week live-in program. I was going to cancel. I was after canceling months before. The taxi showed up to my door to bring me to the place, and I said, yeah, I'm not going to go. And so I didn't go. And I went back to drinking and drugs again for another few months. And I woke up one morning and I was about to, the taxi showed up, I was going to cancel again. But as a bright flashing light shined through my apartment, but there was no windows. And I was living in the basement apartment. So I don't know where the light came from.
No windows.
There was no windows, but there was a bright flashing light in my room. And also the song by the Beatles, Let It Be. I don't know if you're familiar with the Beatles, that Let It Be.
Of course.
Wherever there will be an answer. I still say today, over 26 years later, that my stereo wasn't even plugged in. And that song came on radio.
So this was a divine situation.
Yeah.
So addiction. I
Yeah.
would like to touch upon that because I also went through an addiction phase, and that's really hard to fight. That is a fight that it can't be. It's hard to explain. So when you got out of addiction, you said you had that spiritual moment, right, where that light came through, that song was playing. After that, that's when you decided, I'm gone. I'm going. I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, I called up my counselor, my addiction counselor at the time, and I said, "Yeah, can you rebook that appointment for me? I really know it's time for me to go. I got to go to do this course. I got to go do this treatment. I haven't looked back since. This over 20 years ago, and I haven't had no relapses or nothing. But yeah, so I knew it was time for me to go. To
20
do this.
years? It's been 20 years, clean?
Well, it's 26 years.
Go, Sheldon! Oh,
Thanks.
I'm so proud of you, man. That within itself is beautiful. 20 years clean and sober. That's huge.
Actually, sorry. It was I quit on New Year's Eve.
Oh, that's why when we were speaking, when we were organizing ourselves, you told me that New Year's is very important for you. So that is one of the reasons.
Because when everybody else is out celebrating with alcohol the New Year, I'm celebrating sobriety.
And how does it feel?
A new me. So.
And how does it feel now, like compared to those times? What do you think has been the biggest benefit of staying clean for anybody listening that's thinking about taking that step?
Well, back then, I thought that the world owed me a favor because where I was born with a physical disability and because the alcohol had my brain very cloudy and very foggy. And I come to realize many years later when I quit drinking, it was reversed. I owed the world a favor. I owed the world a favor by sharing my story and helping other people recognize that they can do it as well. If I can, so can you.
Wow, that is really powerful. That mindset shift you had of that's beautiful. I love it, love it, love it. So what is your coaching going to look like? Because you just started that business, right? That is one business that you're starting to get into. What is your idea on that? Who is your audience, or who is it that you want to help? What type of individuals?
Well, Crocker's transformative thinking is what they call it. And I help people to transform their thinking. Instead of saying, oh, I can't do something, understand that, okay, you might not be able to do it this certain way, but there's always a way to do it. Like I'm not physically able to raise my arms above my chest. So I'm not really able to climb a mountain of obstacles, but I can actually walk around the mountain, or I can even go to a store and buy a shovel or dynamite and blow a hole through the mountain.
No, don't buy the dynamite.
Right? Yeah. So, I mean, there's always a way to think about it. You might say, oh, I can't do something, but yeah, you can. Just not do it the same way that everybody else can.
So that's you're helping people. You're helping them gain that mindset to start that transformation.
Yes. Resilience, mostly. I help people with physical disabilities because I know so many people, especially here where I'm living, with physical disabilities saying, oh, they can't do nothing, they can't do that. They're still living at home with their parents when they're like 40 out because they say they can't. I mean, I'm not physically able to do that much myself, but I managed to get out and do things.
You're proving.
So, so I have a 6-week empowerment course that I do in engaging keynote speeches. But mostly that's how I help others is by helping them reframe their thinking and to transform their thinking. And help them recognize that they do have an inner globe, and I'm just like the candle to light the flame.
Nice. Love that. You're on fire, Sheldon. So, if you don't mind me asking, and what is your disability? If you don't mind.
I don't. I'm open for everything. But the name of my disability, it's called arthrogryposis.
No, I've never heard of it.
Well, when I was born, I'm not going to say, I don't want to date myself how old I am. The doctors told my parents there was only 3 people in all of North America that had it. Yeah.
So
I don't know how accurate that was, but You know,
But it wasn't. Not a lot of people had it.
no. So I was actually born. When people say they have no bicep muscles, it just means that they're not pumped up or whatever. But I mean, I literally do not have bicep muscles. Like,
Really?
yeah, and so I was born with two straight arms. Like my left arm, it doesn't bend at all. And when I was born, like two of them were straight, but the doctors permanently bent my right arm at the age of 4 or whatever by shortening up ligaments and whatever they did in order for me to be able to wash my face or feed myself. So that's part of my disability. It affects the joints and muscles and ligaments of a person.
Wow, I'm telling you, Sheldon, that's actually really powerful. That I mean, you have this disability and you're able to do what you do, because I looked at your stuff and it's amazing, right? You have how many books you have? I think
I have the second one behind me that's going to be launched now on the 25th this month. A trilogy of my life. Well, I mean, I could have done all one, but it was in like 2,000 pages. So I mean, I decided to. The first book is called Keep On Walking. Ironically enough, I called it Keep On Walking because when I was younger, because of my disability, the doctors told my parents that I might never be able to walk on my own. But it's only like 6 years ago, I completed a 10-mile road race. I finished ahead of like 10 other people. For a person who might never be able to walk on their own to be able to finish a 10-mile road race.
it's amazing. It's powerful. It's a very powerful thing. So let me ask you this. What is it that makes you tick? Because what it means is you had every excuse in the world to not to give up or not to try hard, or like you said, there's a lot of people you know that or where you live that have these disabilities and are not working on themselves, or they're just living home. What makes you different? Like what that mindset or that feeling that makes you say, I'm gonna just fight and I'm going to do it no matter what's happening to me.
Right.
What is that?
I just knew that I just always no matter how far down I was, no matter how many park benches I slept on, no matter how many ditches or rocks in the ditches I used as pillows, I knew that there had to be a reason why I was here. And it was just up to me to discover and find out why I was here. And after I finally quit drinking and then doing drugs, I discovered the reason why I was here was to be the voice to help others find their voice. You know?
Nice. I like that. And how long have you been in the self-development field now?
It started off with my first speech, actually, one of the community center residence place that I lived in for a while after I was just stopping my addictions. And they approached me about a year afterwards and said, how would you like to give a talk at one of our annual general meetings? It's like, me, I had nothing to share. Who are you talking to me? It's like, Sheldon, you've had quite the story. You got quite the story. You've lived quite the life. Okay. They said, no worries. It's gonna be about 10 people there that you know, right? But I come to find out afterwards, he didn't tell me how many people were going to be there in general. They didn't tell me that there was going to be 100 people there.
Oh no! So you show up and you say, oh my God, how did that feel?
Well, I was like, well, I'm here. Might as well throw me into the deep water right away.
You gotta do it. I gotta tell you something. From the times that we have spoken and now hearing this story and hearing what you've done, especially that, right? You have a lot of courage. Where do you think that courage came from? Because it's courage. You have that ability to fall and get back up and keep going. So where do you get that? How do you get that?
Thank you. Well, there's a phrase, I don't know if you've heard it before or not, but redheads are stubborn. Redheads are spitey, or redheads are stubborn. Well, I'm as you can tell, I'm a redhead, right? So I guess it's just stubbornness, spitiness, saying no, you're not going to keep me down. Because when most of my life, my father would, like I said, would tell me that you'll never amount to anything. I come to realize, like, who the heck do you think you are? Yeah. I'm going to prove you wrong. So I always felt like I needed to prove myself. And if I didn't feel like I needed to prove myself, I probably wouldn't have. So I'm grateful that I have my disability. Because I don't look at it as a disability. I look at it as now, it's this slang term. How most people, when they're saying something like to say THIS, like this overcome disability, whatever. Here in Newfoundland, the old timers would say DIS. Not in as to diss somebody, but in just saying this computer. They would just say DIS, like
Got it. So
right?
That's it.
So I believe I have disability. I have disability to overcome obstacles. I have disability to step outside my comfort zone.
Got it. Yeah, I mean, it's it's a lot. It's a lot. What you've gone through is tremendous. It's it would break most individuals. So I from meeting you, I say you have abilities. You have the ability to do so much, and you're using that courage. So where are you from again?
Newfoundland, Canada.
Canada, we got Canada on the show. You just broke a record. So, what would you tell for someone who is this age right now, right? And listening to someone, and what would you tell them to start doing or to get up and fight like you are?
Don't let nobody hold you back. Don't let nobody tell you what to do. You decide for yourself who you are, and you decide for yourself what you want. Just because other people try to hold you back, take that and use that as the fuel to stoke your own fire, to move yourself forward, and to know that emotional resilience is pivotal in personal transformation. Being able to bounce back from adversity is what helps you become stronger. So to see your disability as a strength, not a weakness.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, I believe in that as well. The obstacles we face are usually the strengths we have, right? And there's this thing, and like you've touched upon the judgment a few times from your parents, and is judgment a huge thing for you? Like people judging you, or people have in the past?
Yeah. Well, I felt I was judged my entire life. But yeah, there's only one judge. And there's only one judge. I when people were judging me, it was like it would just motivate me to do even more. It's like, who the heck do you think you are to tell me what to do? It's like,
who are you? And
right? I'll show you.
Yeah, you're completely right. Dr. Wayne Dyer says, I might not get it right. He says a quote that I really like. He says, when you judge others, you are not defining them, you are defining yourself. And I think that is so true. I think when someone judges you, it's based upon their reality, right? On what they're seeing and what their experience and their limitations. So whenever they do that, it's just a mirror into themselves. So how did you get through that? Because I faced a lot of judgment. That's really hard to face, right? A lot of people face judgment. How did you get through it? Facing all this judgment of you?
Well, I buried it for many years inside of the bottle. But when I finally found this organization here in the city where I live, who were very helpful, because I actually left one town where I was drinking my life away, where I was just supposed to say dead. I was in a coma. One night I actually passed out in the club after drinking 35 beer. The doctor said if I had drank one more beer, I would have died. I was actually walking towards the bar from the chair, but I passed out on the dance floor, and they had to bring the ambulance in to get me. But
so because it shows how much you were struggling. You know what I mean? How you were in that place.
Yeah. Well, as I said, I got myself buried in the bottle, but so I moved from one city to another. I don't drive my own vehicle. I walk. It was like 100 miles.
What?
Yeah, I know. I think it was close to 100 miles, maybe only 70 miles. But I walk.
Like a big city? It's a big city.
Well, there are no real big cities here. I mean, where I live, but I live right now. I live in a place that got like 100,000. That's the biggest city that there is in the place where I live. I live on an island, so 100,000 is the capital city where I live now. But I moved from a place that only had like 7,000. But before that, my original hometown only had 300.
I've never experienced that. I promise. I'm from New York City, and then Miami, and then Orlando. Right. Like I've never experienced that small of a town. I think it's pretty cool.
So I actually didn't even know. I knew I could either stay in the town where I was living and drink myself to death, or I could attempt to walk to the city where my mother was living, probably die on the way walking. And it's so far to
I
walk,
probably would.
but it's and try to have a better life for myself. So I moved into the city where my mother lived, stayed with her for a while, and I was still drinking more than what I should. And she was remarried. He was saying, "I married you, not this drunken bum."
No.
Yeah, my mother actually attempted suicide twice. Thank God she's still alive. She tried to take an overdose twice because she was put in the hospital for a while. I couldn't stay there with just him, because he didn't want me there in the first place. And I was going to college at the time, and I was going through these addictions. The guidance counselor, I guess, used to work at this organization where I ended up going, the treatment center. And she said, "I'll say if I get a meeting set up for you to go there and visit them to see if they can take you in." So I went there, and usually it's a 6-month waiting period. They interview with them. They said, "How soon can you be back?" It's like, "Isn't there like a waiting period?" She said, "No, you're a special case. You can move in today because you need a place to go." So I went back there to have dinner, and I stayed there for 4 months in the program. And from then on, I had their support. Even all these years later, I don't talk to them so much as I used to because I don't really need their support that much anymore. But I know that if I need something, they are there.
So support was one of the weapons you used to fight the judgment and of course addiction. How much of the addiction do you think it was because of all the things you went through, and that's why the addiction started?
I believe it's quite a bit of it because I started drinking when I was like 8 years old, or maybe 9 years old. Yeah, my mother took a photograph one time when the really old-fashioned Polaroid cameras, and me sitting on my father's lap with him. I was maybe 4 years old, and he had one of those short neck stubby beer bottles. Mm-hmm. With him with the beer bottle up to my mouth when I was like 4 or 5 years old. I'm saying that's when my addiction started. I see my father drinking all the time and drunk all the time. It was what I grew up around. Is what I thought was the normal thing to do. After I became an adult, I mean, yes, I know the addiction was already started, but nobody forced me to keep drinking after I was an adult. But the addiction was already formed.
I mean, come on, that's it's understandable because. I mean, it's the people that are taking care of you or supposed to be taking care of you, or the people you're supposed to be looking at. They normalize it. Right. And then once you're in it, like I said, I battle addiction. Once it's not, you're addicted. It's little of choice, it's hard. So, wow, I want to tell you something. I apologize for what happened to you.
Oh, thanks.
Because I don't know. I don't think that's fair. You were already, I have kids and I love my kids. So I can't imagine like having my children. They're already, they were born with this ability, right? Mm-hmm. That makes it's going to make it, not that it's impossible like you've shown, but it's going to make things a little bit harder, right? To get adjusted. And now you're totally teaching them the wrong things. Not only that, you're not supporting them. You're judging them. I mean, I'm sorry. I wish I could have done something to help you back then because that shouldn't have happened to you. You could tell you're a good guy. I know you're a good guy because you're in the personal development field. Mm-hmm. That's all about serving, right?
Right.
So I'm sorry that happened to you.
Thank you.
It's like you said. That's maybe so. That's where that comes from, huh? The empowering of people. That's why you do it, right?
Right. I felt like I was my own mother's parent ever since I was 5 years old. I don't know of any other kids that were 5 years old and telling their mother, "Mom, you should leave Dad because he's bad to you." So being 5 years old and being my mother's parent, it taught me to be independent and taught me to be determined in what I'm doing at a young age. Even though those things happened to me, I think it was more like they happened for me. To be good, to make me the strong person I am today. Because if those things didn't happen when the pandemic first happened, I would have been a lot more stressed out than what I was. I would have been a lot, but it's like I already went through my entire life has been a pandemic. My entire life is
from beginning.
So it's like, give me more. It would just give me more of an excuse to stay at home.
Man, I gotta tell you, Sheldon, you are very powerful. I mean, there's no other word to explain it. If you want to look up what a powerful person looks like, it's you because I love the way you have that mindset you have. Like you keep saying it, and this is that these things you said it happened for
Yeah.
you. Like, it helped you. You keep seeing the positives in these situations, and I think that's key. How much of that do you use in your coaching and your speaking?
Well, that's mostly everything I talk about. There's always a positive in everything, no matter how negative something may be. That incident in itself might be very negative. Like there's nothing at all positive about war. Nothing. There's nothing at all positive about child abuse or anything like that. But those incidents themselves are not positive. But it also helps you become aware of the things that are positive in this world, or it can help you to see the positive things that's in the world because of these negatives.
So you've seen like the worst of it, so you're able to see better of it. That's awesome. And so, how important has mental health been to you?
For many years, I went through a depression. Well, whenever I was going through my addictions, I was going through a depression because and feeling down. Oh, the world owes me a favor. The world owes me a favor. I was born with a disability. Oh me. Oh my. The world is out to get me. That's not good for your mental health. And when your mental health is suffering, it causes your physical health to suffer as well. So it's very important because if you're not clearly aware of what you're thinking and what you're feeling, then you're not going to be clearly aware of what's right in front of you sometimes.
So, okay, so let's talk about your book. Thank you. And thank you for sharing. Seriously, that again, it just shows your courage. And I can tell that the reason you're sharing is in hopes that it helps someone, whoever listens, and it does. Stories of empowering stories really do help people, and that's why you're a speaker. So thank you for sharing and helping someone. So let's talk about the new book that is coming out. I see the cover behind you. Beautiful cover, by the way. Beautiful. The Road to Resilience. Do you want to talk a little bit about that? It looks beautiful.
Thank you. Well, it leads off from the first book to Keep On Walking. And the third book is called From Trials to Triumph. The second book here, The Road to Resilience, it's about the things that you discover along your way from recovery. It's about the things that you learn while you're looking to become more resilient with the things in the trials and tribulations in your life. It's because a lot of people believe that, they're not a resilient person or you can't be resilient. They're not stopping to be aware that you can actually develop of resilience, that you can actually grow your resilience and make your resilience stronger. It's not a fact of, you're born with resilience or you're not. It's the fact of it developing. And it develops through your trials and tough times.
Got it.
You become more resilient. The more, if you're faced with tough times, like myself, where I was faced with tough times in my childhood, COVID didn't really affect me that much. Even though
so much work, but still, let's think about this. You went through COVID and got through. A lot of us don't sit down and think, wow, that was a huge situation, and if we're here, that means we up and we won, right? Individually. Right. So, but I can see that. So you're saying that resiliency is not something you're born with. You can learn it. You can. Okay. So what would be like the first? I don't want you to give too much of your book away, but if you could share one tip of building that resilience for someone, what can they start doing? What's the easiest thing they can start doing now to start working on that resilience?
Well, the first thing that people can do is to believe that they can.
Oh, I like that, Sheldon. I like that.
That's the first thing, because if you don't believe you can, you're definitely not going to be able to.
Yeah, Mr. Dyer, he said it. He said, if you believe it will work, you will see the opportunities. If you believe it will not, you will see the barriers. Yes, belief is so powerful. It's needed. So believing. So what you're saying, that's where you start. First, start believing that you could in your abilities. All right. What else? Tell me about the other books. You mentioned the other ones as well.
Yeah, well, the first book, Keep On Walking, is Keep On Walking, a journey of transformation and inspiration. It's got the title because of where the doctor told me I might never be able to walk. Is like anything in life, we have to walk through the manure. We have to go through the shit in life, and in order to see the pretty flowers on the other side, or to see the good times on the other side. A lot of times we need to go through the bad times. So keep on walking. There's no point of us coming up with a bad, tough time in life and just stop going forward. Because we're just going to be stuck in the bad times. But I mean, but if we keep on walking through it and going through it, then we will get to the other side.
That light at the end of the tunnel. And I think that's one of the hardest things, right, for people when they're going through stuff. It's hard for them to understand that there is something else. That it's a moment, right? You can get through it. You just gotta, like you said, keep walking through that manure, right? Just keep walking through it. There is, and you're like the proof that there is, because I think that's what you did, right?
I kept on walking, even though I wasn't supposed to. And the first book is about my childhood. It's about my physical abuse by my parents. It's about my addictions. It's about how I got sexually abused by my babysitter when I was like 4 years old. It's talking about how I lived on the streets. Actually, there was a time that I actually ate donuts off the sidewalk because I didn't have no money for groceries. But at the same time, I managed to go to 3 colleges and graduate.
You're a warrior. You're a warrior. That's what you are. You're a warrior, my man.
Thanks.
You just keep, you fight. That's what you said that day that you saw the light and you heard the music. You knew there was something more. You're born to fight. That's your job. That's what was given to you. And now you're gonna help people. Now you have been helping people fight as well. So, are you proud of yourself for all this?
I don't tend to look at it as for myself. I guess I am. Yes, it's as simple as a subtle pride, but it's. I'm not going around boasting. I'm not going around boasting or anything, but I feel accomplished. I feel.
You should. I'm proud of you. I'm very, very proud of you. There's people that have much less barrier, not to compare to. Because everything, the end of the world is different for everyone. So I'm not comparing, but there are people that don't even have half or less than what you've gone through and aren't fighting the way you're fighting. So I as a human to another human, I am very proud of you. I am very happy that you are here on this earth doing what you do. And I know you're going to help people for real, because the best, I own a counseling agency, and the counselors always say the best counselors are those who have suffered pain, because you know what it is like, been there. So can you imagine how many people you can help with your story and with what you do? I'm so happy that you're starting the coaching thing. Are you excited about that?
Oh, yes, for sure. The more people I can help, the more people I can reach, the more people I can help.
So if I asked you and I think you said it, but I want, so we could get it defined. What is your purpose in life?
My purpose in life is to be the guiding light to help others to find their own light in the darkness.
Yeah, I just wanted you to say it again because I love it. I love it. And so, any speaking events coming up that people can look for you? Well,
I do have I don't know if it was considered a speaking event, but I do have another podcast coming up this afternoon.
You're on fire, bro.
And I do have a speaking opportunity, a speaking event coming up now, January the 17th. It's called Elevate Your Coaching Business. It's going to be done online. I do have two more just coming up next month. It's going to be one that's going to be on the local television station here where I live. And I do have another one that's coming up, National Disability Awareness Month.
Yes. Wow, you're busy. You're very busy.
Keeping busy.
This is amazing. Very, very amazing.
Thanks.
So what would you tell if right now your client is listening to you, or someone who really needs the help, a potential client? someone who's really in a dark place, right, with whatever they're going through, what words of encouragement would you tell them right now?
Remember that you have the capacity to overcome adversity and emerge stronger, regardless of your circumstances. Embrace your inner strength, believe in yourself, and take the first steps towards the path of empowerment and resilience. The first step would be believing in yourself.
Belief. It's powerful, believing in what your abilities are. So yeah, you're like completely right. I was homeless as well, which that within itself is that's tough to be. I mean, you experienced it. That is a tough situation to look around and see people that have things, right? And people that have the ability to get food, and people that have, and they're going about their day. When I went through it, I was very angry. I was very angry at the world because it's like you. I thought, how can you leave me here, right? How can you leave me here? So how did you get out of homelessness? If you can share a little bit, or what helped you get out of homelessness? Because homelessness is a big problem right now.
Right. Well, it was the organization that I dealt with, worked with, or connected with. They actually
the one you spoke about.
The support I had before. They actually, there's one department of their organization that actually helps people find housing, and they help people with being placed in safe environments. So it all started after I quit drinking, and I started being more outgoing and more not so held back, and I was actually reaching out for help because I finally believed that I
just hard.
Yeah, it was hard. Well, coming from being an only child, never feeling like you had a voice.
So the support was a huge factor in a lot of things, but fighting that addiction was, I guess, the first step, huh?
Yeah, it was. Because if you start with the small steps, all the small steps add into a big step. Because even, I know it's an old cliche saying, but 1,000 miles begins with a single step.
Oh, I like that.
I believe it was Lu Zhao, Chinese philosopher.
Wait. Say what was it? Say it again.
1,000 miles begin with one step.
That's good stuff. So that was your first step. That getting help for that addiction was like a critical step, obviously.
The first step was like I said, believing that they were always here for a reason.
So belief and definitely fighting those addictions. Because, but when you're going through that, how hard was it to overcome the addiction?
It wasn't easy. It wasn't easy. Like I said, I canceled going for treatment once, and I was hemming and hawing about should I quit, should I not drink, should I quit for like months before I actually did. I remember sitting in the bar and just like pressing order a drink and pushing it back between me and the bartender. I don't want it. I need it. I don't want it. I need it. For like weeks and weeks and weeks and.
So you were fighting it for some time.
Oh yeah, before I actually did. But once I did, I just I'm an all or nothing type of person. It's like I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. It takes me a while to make up my mind to do things. But
it's changed everything. Well, obviously, look at what you've done with everything. Obviously, you're an all-in type of person. It's obvious.
Thanks.
Because you've done so much. And I'm excited for the clients that you do and will help. I know you're a great value as a coach because you've been through it. What else would you like to? Is there anything else you would like to share with people that are listening or that haven't asked?
Yeah. Well, there's so much to discuss. I just was inspired to share my experiences and insights and strategies to help others to do the same, to know that they can. That's still what it all boils down to, I believe, is that belief in yourself.
That's right.
And people say, well, how can I believe in myself when my times are so tough? It's like, well, you could either sit there and not believe in yourself and things will never change, or even if you believe that, okay, I believe I can get out of bed today, or I believe that I can put my shoes on today and walk just outside my apartment door right now. That's better than just saying, I can't. So that's just when some people believe in even something small.
Small. I like that. That's actually really good advice. Just start there, right? And that becomes a habit. You start doing that. So how do people find your books? How do people find your coaching services? How do people find you for speaking? If you want to share.
Right. Well, my website is sheldonstransformativethinking.com. I'm on Facebook. I'm on LinkedIn. Just two main places where I'm located to. I believe that you have my links.
Yep.
That you.
And I'm going to put all the links up. And the books they can find on the website, is that where they will go to?
Oh, yes, you can find my books on the website. They're also on Amazon as well. So I'm going to be putting out a link through Facebook World for January 25th. I'm going to have my major launch for this book behind me.
I'm definitely getting. I have to. I need to read it. I need to. Is it hard copy and or is it just electronic? So people.
Yeah, well, you can get a paperback. You can get a paperback ebook, whichever you prefer.
I'm still a paperback kind of guy.
Right.
That dates that dates us, right?
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's just I think it's the experience of turning the page and.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just love
the physical format, the physical book in your hand. You can just smell the smell of the book. It's like, right? Yeah.
Well, yeah. I'm gonna. Is there anything else you want to share before we go?
I just wanted to say thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure sharing my journey and experience to all the listeners out there. Remember that they can overcome and that they will overcome if they believe that they can, and embrace it. And you'll be amazed at positive outcomes you can achieve in your life.
Well, thank you. Thank you for coming. This was an honor to be able to be in the presence of someone that has fought so many battles on me. And you show the world what is truly possible. You show the world what they can do. Because if you can overcome what you have overcome by simply believing and by fighting, then what can others do? So thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing your story and being vulnerable, because that's difficult within itself. I know it's going to help many people. It helped me today. I am inspired to carry on with my day and do greatness. So thank you so much for coming. It's been a pleasure. Everyone, go get his book, because I know it's going to be amazing. Go give him follows, support, because he is doing amazing things and he is helping change the world. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks.